What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Check this out, y'all. The United States and Canada relaunched trade negotiations. Now, you may have not heard the story. I forget what day it was last week, but Canada imposed a tax on digital services coming out of the United States, which essentially works as a tariff on like Amazon, Meta, YouTube. Any digital service that comes out of the United States going into Canada would get, I think it was a 2% tax. And Donald Trump said, screw that. He's bumping up the tariffs, cutting off trade negotiations, so that went off. And when that happened, this happened. Let's get into it, y'all. Canada and the United States have resumed trade talks after Prime Minister Mark Carney's government abandoned the Canadian Digital Tax Service. U.S. President Donald Trump suspended negotiations with Canada over the tax on Friday, following a phone call between Carney and Trump on Sunday. Ottawa announced it was scrapping the tax. White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett said Monday that the United States would immediately resume trade negotiations with Canada. A spokesperson for the Prime Minister's office confirmed the resumption of the trade talks. This is what you call winning, folks. This is absolutely what you call winning. These communists up in Canada think that they can bully the United States. Mark Carney even ran. He pledged that he would push back against the Trump administration. How you doing with that, buddy? You pushing back against the Trump administration, huh? How did that work out for you? It seemed to have fell through, as a matter of fact. But you gotta love this, folks. Donald Trump is not one to be messed with. Right? He's serious when it comes to trade. He's serious when it comes to negotiations. You don't mess around with this guy. Like, I'm just loving this. You know, pushing back and making these people bend to your will. It's what Donald Trump does. And it's good to be the president of the United States, of the most powerful nation in the world. I think that's a good thing, if I'm being completely honest. Now, he's not going to screw you. I'm not talking about some fascist government or anything like that. I'm just talking about you don't play games with this guy. Otherwise, he's going to go nuclear on you. Right? This is a good thing, because it means that everybody that comes to the negotiating table, you better bring your A game and be serious. Don't try to play no games. Don't try to bully the United States because you think you can. None of that. Let's be serious. Let's negotiate. And hey, we can all walk away making more money and be happy about it. That's what Donald Trump brings. And you gotta love it. And it apparently works. Works really good. Mr. Hassett made the comments during an interview on Fox News, saying that Mr. Trump had asked Canada to remove the tax at the G7 summit in Alberta earlier this month. He said the tax's removal means Canada and the United States can resume negotiations. The tax would have applied a 3% levy on the income of Canadian users of major tech companies, including Amazon, Google, Meta, Uber, and Airbnb. Canada's decision to abandon the tax just came as the first payment of the tax was about to fall due. Yeah, that's a weird way to phrase that. Don't you think it was about to fall due? The first payment was retroactive to 2022 and could have collectively cost American companies $2 billion. Now, I love how they're framing that, because if you remember what I was talking about at the beginning of this video, that tax essentially works as a tariff. Hang on just a second. If Canada is issuing a tariff on the United States, how is that going to cost the U.S. companies $2 billion if tariffs are only a tax on the citizens of the country that imposes the tariff? These people lie all the time, folks. And you can catch them in their lies because they forget their lies. That's the thing about lying. You got to keep on lying and remembering those lies lest you forget those lies and end up telling on yourself later down the road. And that's exactly what the corporate press is doing right here. They're telling on themselves. So the corporate press relentlessly told you that tariffs are a tax on American consumers, or Trump's tariffs are a tax on American consumers, and that's it. Nobody else pays for this. But now they're telling you Canada imposes a tariff on digital services to the United States, and it's going to cost the United States companies $2 billion. You gotta love the logic of these people and just how they forget logic all the time. These payments have therefore been suspended, and the Minister of Finance, Francois-Philippe Champagne, is planning a legislative measure to repeal the Digital Services Tax Act soon. On Monday, business groups on both sides of the border praised the government for taking steps to eliminate the tax, while critics accused the government of capitulating to the United States. Yes, Canada, I'm sorry, you're not in a position to try to bully the United States. I can't even read that name right there. Bloc Québécois, leader Yves Francois Blanchet, points out that Mr. Carney campaigned during the election on the need to find a way to avoid Mr. Trump's tariffs, but that he had shown nothing on this subject until now. In a message posted on social media, Mr. Blanchet added that Mr. Carney's government made heavy compromises on defense, borders, and counter tariffs, and then here it is backtracking on a consensual measure to protect culture, and still, with nothing to show for it, no gain or progress for Quebec and Canada, neither on tariffs nor trade. It's very worrying, he concludes. Yeah, this is what happens when you try to play chicken with the United States. Interim new Democratic Party leader Don Davies claimed on social media that the decision to end the digital services tax amounts to purely caving in to Trump and his billionaire friends. What billionaire friends? What billionaire friends are in control of the government? Because Elon Musk is gone. So what is this guy talking about? Once again, folks, these people are deranged. They're just outright deranged with Donald Trump. But they can't seem to help it for some reason. Canada is a sovereign country with the right to adopt its own laws. Abandoning fair taxation of tech giants is unacceptable appeasement, said Davies. Unacceptable appeasement, huh? You gotta love it, y'all. He adds that with Mr. Carney's openness to Mr. Trump's Gold Dome missile defense plan and his race to meet NATO's new 5% defense spending threshold, it increasingly appears that Mr. Carney has his elbows up during the pre-game skating session, only to drop them once the game started. I love it, y'all. I really do. However, the Canadian Chamber of Commerce calls the decision to abandon the tax wise. Yes, it's a good idea. They're already taxing their citizens into oblivion, for goodness sakes. This tax would have burdened Canadian consumers, businesses, and investors with higher costs and would have harmed our economy at a critical time, said David Pierce, the Chamber's Vice President of Government Relations, in a statement. I don't know why they do that. In a statement. Like, put said in a statement instead of putting said way in front of like 15 other words. Don't these people know how to write? Like, write so it sounds good when you speak it, in other words. They don't know how to write for speech, I guess. Maybe there's a difference, I don't know. He added that the removal of the tax brings us closer to a renewed and reliable trade agreement with the United States. Rick Tkachuk, president of the American Chamber of Commerce in Canada, AmCham Canada, said the removal of the tax was a welcome move by the Canadian government. This is a constructive decision that allows both countries to focus on strengthening their economic partnership. Businesses on both sides of the border rely on policies that promote certainty, collaboration, and long-term growth, he said in a statement. You gotta love it, folks. So Donald Trump is doing his thing. He's not going to be bullied by any other country. As a matter of fact, he's going to push back on a lot of these countries because we have been getting robbed for years now at this point. Canada has been issuing tariffs on the United States on a lot of dairy products, a lot of cheese products, and there's several other products that they put, upwards of 400% tariffs in some cases. And there were no reciprocal tariffs at all. The United States did not have any tariffs on anybody for any reason until Donald Trump came along. Donald Trump said, screw this, we're tired of getting the shaft over here, and we're going to issue some tariffs on these people. And I love it. You issue the tariffs, then you go negotiate those tariffs away so we get good trade deals for here in the United States. You keep some tariffs in place to protect the industry that is in the United States. You lower taxes on corporations so you can bring back manufacturing, and then you lower taxes on the population so they'll spend more money. Then you spur on a buttload of growth. That's how you do that. Donald Trump done that his first term, and we were doing really well. And COVID came in and kind of wrecked all that. And it is what it is. You know, nobody can predict a pandemic, a global pandemic. So it is what it is. This is good news. It's kind of a slow news day. That's why I covered it. But I got another one coming for you guys. So y'all make sure and stay tuned for that. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. I'm loving this, folks. Y'all let me know. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video all over the place. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.